Hey, hello everyone. This is Jeff Longwell, and I'm preparing this small course tour for you to share what I've learned about UDL and design for all types of learners. You'll see here the image of the superhero that I assumed as part of this class. His name is Prof. Jeff. That's a nickname that I've been given or taken. What I like about this superhero activity is it allows us to identify another persona, but also adopt some of those things that we have assumed. And you'll see his fist clenched. Those are representing power that he has gained, and the superpowers or shields that he is emitting there are the things that he's been empowered with. And I feel like this course has empowered me with some new tools to allow me to reach out to a variety of types of learners in my courses to help them understand the concepts that I'm teaching. What it has also allowed me to do is refocus to realize that there's a lot that I personally am already doing, but it just needs to be identified in the appropriate way. And so that's the idea behind my superhero, Prof. Jeff. So I'd like to take you on a tour of my course. It's Spanish 507. It's part of our master's program in Spanish, so all of the content is in Spanish. So I'll try and show some and explain things as we go. After clicking on modules, you'll see the different modules that are here. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the first content module that is in the course. It's on how to select and use different internet or websites to teach language. And it's not sites that actually teach language, it's authentic websites in Spanish that we can use to teach the language or culture for students. So what I've included in here is the template. As I mentioned before, this is one of the things I feel most empowered with because I've searched and never really felt comfortable with a lot of the templates that are existing on course mapping, but this really helped me to focus in on what I feel was important for students to see and have, not necessarily just to pass a quality course review, but also that would have some benefit for the students. In this case, here's the curriculum redesign, providing the multiple means of representation, of action and expression, and of engagement that we've been practicing. And I've really appreciated this part because there are some things that I already had been doing, but it helps me identify more things to do to help students out. So what we'll do is I'll go through the items on this course map, and then I'll show you how they are enacted in this learning module. So that under the multiple means of representation, the students are going to be attending either a live or recorded webinar where they'll go over materials for the component. And you'll notice that sometimes things overlap, which I think is one of the things I enjoy about UDL because it's a positive type of redundancy. They're not exactly the same materials, but a reiteration of certain materials. So they'll have that webinar that they'll be able to attend. They'll be able to read an article that I've provided, but one of the things that I like to do, which I think falls in UDL, under UDL, is that students are allowed to explore things on their own to find what interests them the most. And so they're going to be asked to find additional information that they enjoy that's applicable to the content. They'll also have different means of expression and action because they'll be asked to participate in a couple of forums where they present their ideas. There are some benchmark criteria that we will have as a class, but then I like to see what additional criteria they will bring to the table on this activity and actually defend themselves as they share websites that they select, up to 10 of them, and defend their choice based on the criteria they have defined and not necessarily just the benchmark we have done. So they'll be able to individualize the activity. Under the means of engagement, they'll be interacting with content, they'll interact with the instructor, they'll interact with themselves, again on the choice of things that they have. With the learning activities, what I've liked about this template is that it puts the expectation of having at least 3 different types of learning activities, learning materials, and different types of assessments. So as we've already talked about, they're going to be having different activities, at least 3. They will have the article, the discussion sharing their own ideas, and then they will be sharing the sample of websites based on the criteria in the second activity. They will be exposed to different types of articles, blogs, websites, videos as they search for the criteria that they'll use. They'll also review sample activities that use websites to enhance language learning. And they'll again attend the webinar where they'll have an overview of the materials that will be used. Finally, the assessment, they will be assessed on their analyzing of articles and websites that they present. They will be showing their 10 websites that they will have to defend based on their criteria, and then they will also have to propose activities. They'll also be asked to propose activities that they'll be making with the websites that they've identified. Now, as part of the webinar, they'll see this PowerPoint presentation. I'm not going to give it to you now because it will take more than the 10 minutes that we have, but it's a visual representation of what will happen in the course. We will cover the content of the module, showing them different websites that will actually be used in different activities, so it will allow them to interact with content in that way. Perhaps the best place that they'll go is a website that I've prepared with a bunch of learning materials where they can see the samples of activities that have been prepared with websites. In this case, it's a section on web quests where they'll be able to see how to make web quests on their own, and then there are examples of different activities that they can click on, and they can see how other students have used websites. Some may be the same websites that they have selected in developing activities for their own students. You'll see that these activities are very visual. Some involve music, some involve videos, some involve food recipes. So again, appealing to all of the different ways that they themselves can learn, but they can prepare for their students to learn. Finally, here are the 2 activities that they will be asked to do. One is to share the criteria. You'll notice that I have a video in this section. There's also a video in the other discussion forum that explains exactly what is expected of them in these 2 discussion forums with rubrics and everything that's been designed based on the concepts we've learned in this course. The one fault that I have up to now is I have not been able to caption all of the videos that are in these courses yet, but that's part of the plan that I have for moving forward, is to make sure there are accessible video products in them. So that's the course module. Thanks for watching, and I hope it's been helpful.